The line between a sport and an activity isn't as clear as people think, and that's why debates around it never really go away. What counts as a sport often depends on a mix of structure, competition, physical demand, and cultural perception. What most people agree is a sport: traditional sports check a few boxes: physical exertion, competition, rules, and organization. That's why games like Cincinnati Reds' game of baseball, or the sport itself, football, basketball, and soccer, rarely get questioned. They involve athletic skill, strategy, and clear winners and losers. Track and field, swimming, and wrestling also fall cleanly into this category. Even individual sports like tennis or golf, despite being less physically aggressive, are widely accepted because they require high levels of skill, training, and competition. Where the debate starts, this is where things get interesting. Some activities meet some of the criteria, but not all, depending on who you ask. One, motorsports racing like NASCAR or Formula One is debated. Drivers endure extreme physical strain, heat, G-forces endurance, but critics argue the machine does most of the work. Supporters say skill, reaction time, and strategy make it absolutely a sport. 2, golf and bowling. These are officially recognized sports, but some people label them games or leisure activities because they don't involve constant movement. Still, the precision, mental focus, and competition are undeniable. 3, cheerleading and dance. Competitive cheer and dance require strength, coordination, and teamwork. Organizations have pushed to classify them as sports, especially at collegiate levels. Critics often dismiss them due to their performance element, but the athletic demands are very real. 4, esports, competitive gaming has exploded. Titles played professionally under organizations like ESL or publishers like Riot Games have massive audiences and structured leagues. The debate here is physical versus mental skill. Players need lightning fast reflexes, but minimal traditional physical exertion. 5, fishing and hunting. Competitive fishing, like bass tournaments, is often called a sport by participants. It involves skill, patience, environmental knowledge, and competition. Others see it as a recreational activity rather than a sport because of its slower pace. Activities usually not considered sports. These are typically missing key elements like competition or physical intensity: hiking, unless competitive; casual cycling, not racing; yoga or general fitness training; skateboarding, though this changed once it entered the Olympics; rock climbing, also debated until Olympic inclusion. Interestingly, once something becomes part of a major event like the Olympic Games, public perception shifts quickly. Skateboarding, surfing, and climbing were once activities, but are now widely accepted as sports. The real dividing line: at the core, 3 things usually decide it. Competition: is there a structured way to win or lose? Skill: does it require training and mastery? Physical or mental demand: is there measurable effort involved? If something hits all 3, it's hard to argue it's not a sport, even if it looks different from the traditional idea. Why the argument continues? A lot of this comes down to perception. People tend to define sport based on what they grew up watching or playing. Someone raised on football might dismiss esports. Someone deep into competitive gaming might argue it's more demanding than golf. There's also a bit of gatekeeping. People wanting to protect the idea of sport as something strictly physical or traditional. Bottom line, sport isn't a fixed category, it evolves. What was once dismissed, like skateboarding or esports, can gain legitimacy over time. Instead of a hard line, it's more like a spectrum. Clear sports: football, baseball, basketball; borderline but widely accepted: golf, racing, cheerleading, debated, esports, fishing, dance, mostly activities, hiking, casual fitness. The truth is, if something requires skill, discipline, and competition, calling it just an activity probably sells it short.